2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 9 to 12. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be them who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Amen. So today we will be taking a look at beta MK Ultra sex kitten symbolism. Why do I think that's important? Well, first of all, if we take a look at the video yesterday, the premiere that I did here, the premiere that I streamed on YouTube, okay, we take a look right here at the homosexual agenda, and make sure you watch the video if you haven't. As you know, my channel is super suppressed, only 30 views, so I hope that it will reach more people, and I will share it on the other channels as well. I will put it on my backup channel, and also it's gonna be on BitChute today. Make sure you watch it. We exposed some of the beta kitten, well, some of the symbolism was exposed in the video, I should say, and I figured I have made previous videos on symbolism and Freemasonry and Satanism and all of that garbage. I have a lot of videos on MK Ultra, as you can see right here, just a few with the CIA secrets, more here in propaganda, Hollywood, MK Ultra, propaganda. There's a bunch more stuff if you go down here. Make sure you watch these videos, and if you haven't watched the other symbolism videos, you know, go back, watch them, right? We got the police, we got the occult meaning of number 33, numerology, color codes, all of that stuff that we exposed in the past. It will be a great blessing to you all, and so yeah, just scroll through the old videos. But today we're gonna be looking at this beta thing, and you know, let's just start, and then we're going to look at some of the symbolism. So, what is, first of all, we have to understand what is MK Ultra sex kitten symbolism. So, the leopard print clothing or dressing, as a cat refers to the sex kitten programmings or cat altar. This is the most sexual programming. Yes, even men have this altar. Beta! And I don't mean Jesse Lee Peterson beta. You know, I had to make that joke, but yeah, no, it's called beta, referred to as sexual programming. This programming eliminates all learned moral convictions and stimulates the primitive sexual instinct devoid of inhibitions. Cat altars may come out of this level. So you have a Leah right here. Notice the color, which reinforces the slavery symbolism. Right. Another one, another famous one, we got Angelina Jolie. The photo on the right is when Angelina was into modeling as a young woman, which may mean that she was controlled even as a child, right? We got Beyonce right here. We got Britney Spears. Pink is also used as symbolism for sex kitten programming, something Britney wore around town quite often. She was also known to have a completely different personality and accent while wearing her pink wig. You have Christina Aguilera. You have Demi Lovato. Drake. Right? Gwen Stefani. Hello Kitty. Hilary Duff. Janet Jackson, Jennifer Lopez, Jessica Alba, which, by the way, Jessie J, all of these women are trannies. Most of them are trannies, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. You know, I'm not that big of a fan of doing transvestigations, as, you know, a lot of the pictures are icky, and I don't want to, you know, vex anybody with some of those, you know, bikini shots and all of that. And honestly, I don't even really want to look at it because it's disgusting and gross. But, you know, just looking at some of the features of these people, like, you know, the jawline and, you know, the bone structure, you can see that they are pretty much, most of them have the skeleton of a male if they claim to be female, and the other way around. And vice versa, I should say, because, right, most of them have the male skeleton. If they're quote unquote female, well, or if they identify as female, and so you don't really have to look at their torsos and all of that. You can just tell by looking in their faces and their bone structures, facial bone structure. You can pretty much tell, but that's not what this video is about. We continue here with Kanye West. Yesterday in my premiere, there was a picture of him wearing the leopard outfit. Of course, you have the Kardashians, all men as well, Katy Perry, Kylie Minogue, and the list goes on and on. Lady Barfbag, Lil Wayne, another one that was in the video, wearing these gay pants. What do you call them? Slim fit, skinny fit, whatever. Lily Allen, Madonna, yeah, she's licking milk out of a bowl. And I have some videos of Serena Williams doing it, and there will be a whole compilation in in the upcoming weeks. One of the premieres that we'll do. Got Michael Jackson, Miley Virus, Nicki Minaj, yeah, of course Paris Hilton, Pixie Lott. I don't even know some of these people. I mean, I don't even know who Pixie Lott is. Rihanna. Vogue. Yeah, it's disturbing to see children sexualized like that. Yeah. Whitney Houston. Not a photo with a collar. Okay. So we got here an older blog. Animal Skins Beta Sex Kitten Program and ID and Trigger. Now some of these videos have been taken down on YouTube, but once again, some of them are here. You can read it for yourself. You can look at it for yourself. I'm not going to look at all of this. Here we go. Note, proliferation of items, coats, dresses, hats, gloves, handbags, scarves, and shoes. Expect to see everyday women and girls decked out head to toe in tiger, zebra, cheetah, giraffe, and of course leopard, the favorite of MK Ultra mind control program. And the fashion industry functions as yet another mind control project of the Tavistock Institute. A massive game of Simon Says wear this and wear that. By the way, if everyone's wearing it, it can't be your look. So much for individuality. You've been programmed. Yep. Now this blog, I want to add, has a lot of good stuff here on all kinds of subjects, from exposing shields to CIA, the Jesuit New World Order, the Jewish Kabbalah with all the Kabbalistic Jews. Everything that you want to know is on this blog. There's a lot of great articles, so I will definitely recommend you read some of this stuff. We're not going to get into everything, but we're going to read a bit. So let's go. MK Ultra Beta kitten or cat alters are programmed into children selected to be monarch slaves at very early ages in the most sadistic manner. Some are sold into the system. Bryce Taylor, aka Susan Ford, while members of multi-generational monarch families are birthed specifically for this purpose, some traumatized in utero, Cisco Wheeler and Sarah L. Palin, having been selected based on their ability to endure severe torture, which creates dissociative identity disorder, or DID, formerly known as MPD. What I find interesting is, if you watch my video on the DID, I streamed a video on the DID thing. It was definitely last year. If you watch it, it's really well explained. You cannot deny that these people are programmed and, devil possessed. I mean, these people have evil spirits in them, 100%. So I'm trying to find a video here. %, no doubt about it. I will link the video in the description. If you haven't checked it out, you should definitely check it out, because there's a lot of truth in there, and it really exposes the whole thing. I will definitely link it, and you'll be able to watch it and let me know what you think. If you haven't watched it, that is. But anyway, so let's continue. Animal prints are used to identify and reinforce alters, release triggered, causing all sexual inhibitions, moral and physical, to be removed for full access by whomever had codes, keys to unlock Charm School mind files. MK Ultra beta sex kittens are told by programmers they have hearts of stone and are programmed for. Some might see this as the perfect male fantasy. Some of the most beautiful women in the world turn into robotic, willing slaves for your pleasure and profit, believing their sole purpose in life is to serve only you. Could you inflict or witness the gut-wrenching ritual rape, torture these women, poor souls, are subjected to since childhood in order to create dissociative identities? Once again, if you are brainwashed and you don't see what's going on, most of these so-called sex slaves are trannies, okay? But we already know that. If you are lusting after these Hollywood actresses, in reality you're lusting after men. Most of them are men. I'm not saying all of them are. And it makes perfect sense when you see what's going on, you know, nowadays with the whole tranny thing and, you know, them pushing the transgender garbage on people. You can't even tell anymore who's who, you know, and what's what. Let's see what David Rockefeller had to say. We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and respected their promises of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity during those years. But the work is now much more sophisticated and prepared to march towards a world government. The supranational sovereignty of an intellectual elite and world bankers is surely preferable to the national auto-determination practiced in past centuries. David Rockefeller said that in June 1991. Thomas Jefferson said the two enemies of the people are criminals and government. So let us tie down the second with the chains of the Constitution so that the second will not become the legalized version of the first. When the people fear government, there's tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Thomas Jefferson, right? Jefferson knew all too well about the secret cabals, the Jesuits that rule over men, those the corporate controlled media pretend don't exist, and the uninformed dismiss. The global banksters and their minions who have literally bought all three branches of government, placed us in military quarantine, and are tightening the noose with their electronic wizardry. We have occult themes. Another reason MK Ultra MONARCH mind control beta sex kitten programmers use cats or kittens as reinforcing objects is due to the ancient practice of feline worship. Readers show how global team players are practicing occultists who participate in scheduled SRA, satanic ritual abuse, rites and rituals. I have a lot of SRA videos on my channel. Make sure you check them out. You got the Catwoman thing, right? The Catwoman programming, right? Lee Merriweather, Eartha Kitt, Michelle Pfeiffer when I was a kid in the 90s, and as of latest, Halle Berry. Familial ritual sexual abuse usually inflicted by male authority figure, mental disorders, dissociative identity disorder, DID, anxiety attacks, depression, suicide attempts, self-mutilation, cutters, program realignment disguised as rehab, eating disorders, serial marriages, sold or traded to other programmers and handlers, military connections, agents / directors as programmers, where further trauma occurs, especially rape, other brutality surrounded with occult, Masonic, Disney imagery. Julie Newmar started short-lived 1960s show My Living Doll as Rhonda the Robot, and on-air showcased test model for diabolical MK Ultra MONARCH programming. The show features Blatant use of base MK Ultra programming used to spin switch alters here before a live studio audience, howling in laughter. Her programmer is an Air Force psychologist, read MK Ultra programmer, who spins the kitten to his delight. The MK set design is obvious even in black and white. This show served as a test module for similar shows come like Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. Dialogue is replete with double entendres and occult Masonic coding. Julie displays obvious dissociative states as a handler/programmer, demonstrating how easy it is to control a human robot. MK Beta's sex slave kittens are often multi-talented singers/dancers/musicians, etc. Teen. The more alters resultant from extreme torture, the more useful to global team as tools, distraction, change agents, drug mules, and couriers of coded intel. How many people suspect their favorite Hollywood starlet is actually a mind-controlled slave enduring unimaginable ritual torture? The show opens with blatant occult Masonic symbolism. Julie went on to star as Catwoman in the original Batman television series, with MK Kitten or Cat alters in full effect. Another badly kept Hollywood secret is that every actress to play Catwoman in Batman series has been a Monarch program multiple. Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, Lee Merriweather, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Halle Berry are not a poor soul, and obviously traumatized MK Beta program sex kitten, who can't forget her arrival on the red carpet, resplendent in emerald green, bejeweled MK kitten wear. The first woman of color to receive the Best Actress for Monsters Ball, where she was traumatized on screen by Billy Bob Thornton. What we think is brilliant acting is not. We've been munching overpriced crap while witnessing reinforcement of deep trauma modes on screen presented as entertainment. Hooray for Hollywood. Since the 1950s, these vile Zionist beasts in Hollywood have been reaping obscene profits, laughing at us as we watch them repeatedly reinforcing trauma. Have you noticed? Hollywood directors just love rape scenes. One of the first Hollywood megastar monarch slaves was Marilyn Monroe, born Norma Jean, a diamond presidential model, fully functional in all rooms, who literally lived in a house of mirrors. Marilyn displayed obvious dissociative states, had numerous blackouts, bouts of depression, robotic manner, tiny whisper of a little girl voice with beta programming sex kitten alters fully on display. Marilyn Monroe was programmed by Bob Hope and handled by good old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra, among others, seduced millions of men for decades without ever being suspected of being a human robot / sex toy for degenerate elites that run/own this country. Norma Jean was ritually used / abused as a sex slave, drug mule, courier of coded intel, and between four elements of murder incorporated in U.S. government, a global team, until she flew too close to the flame and had to be eliminated. She is the prototype Hollywood mega starlet and continues to be a monarch slave model for up-and-coming wannabe megastars. The Material Girl, Madonna, began her meteoric rise, paying homage to Marilyn's "Diamonds Are Gold's Best Friend." Marilyn Monroe's estate continues to generate lots of cash for greedy / degenerate Zionist programmers / handlers. Their greed knows no bounds. MK Children Gear Identifiers and Program Reinforcement. The over-sexualizing of young girls has reached the absurd level, with child pageants functioning as pedo flesh markets, where underage MKs cheered on by sadistic parents looking for big cash paydays, auditioned by performing pole dances wearing stripper gear, gobs of makeup, and heels, and then sold or traded by degenerate programmers salivating in the audience. Here are the oh-so-wholesome evangelical Pentecostal palans presenting their 7-year-old daughter Piper mincing in 4 heels on national television, beta sex kitten child programming in full effect. Once again, some of these videos are not showing, or these pictures. I'm kind of glad they're not showing because it's disgusting. It might be this one. I'm not sure if that's what they're referring to, but if you really want to Google it or check it out on YouTube, I bet you'll find some videos or BitChute and whatnot. Tragically, the children's lives, minds have already been stolen. They exist only to pleasure the truly depraved among the gilded Hollywood political military apparatus. Programmed and handled by their celebrity parents, abused, used, shuttled from one after party to another, they remain in high demand among Hollywood political military circles. Trapped in the vile MK Ultra mind control program like birds in gilded cages surrounded by the trappings of wealth no one else cares. And there are some videos here that you can check out. Of course, we have the primary producer of children mind control programming content on the planet. It's none other than Disney. Note the 666 in the lettering, the rainbow color coding, right? And of course the 3, Mickey, right? Disney 666. Need I say more? The Disney Channel functions as an on-air pedo catalog for global teen, where MKs from Mickey Mouse Club are trotted for their media debut on-air programming reinforcement. Note the set design, the color coding, and occult references on these shows. This is before they're being put in rotation among Disney-owned media platforms. And you have MK Ultra Beta Sex Kitten program reinforcement with animal skins ingrained in culture. You can see Big Mike right here, right? Michelle, aka Mike Obama, Big Mike. Yeah, wearing the gear, right? News media, Robin Meade, Left Eye Wink. You got Sarah Palin, right? Cameron Diaz, Paris Hilton, Rihanna. We already saw some of these. Miley Virus, J-Lo, and so on and so forth. So much more could be said about all of this. If we go here, there's a whole article on Marilyn Monroe. Of course, we're not going to take a look at all of that, but we will definitely, you know, look at some of the most important things. And then if you really want to dig into the whole rabbit hole with Marilyn Monroe, I will link this and you can read it for yourself. And I apologize, you know, for some of these pictures. Monarch programming is a method of hard mind control used by numerous organizations for covert purposes. It is a continuation of Project MK Ultra mind control program developed by the CIA and tested on the military and civilians. The methods are astonishingly sadistic. Its entire purpose is to traumatize the victim, and the expected results are horrifying. The creation of a mind-controlled slave who can be triggered at any time to perform any action required by the handler. While mass media ignores this issue, over 2 million Americans have gone through the horrors of this program. Monarch programming is a mind control technique comprising elements of satanic ritual abuse, SRA, and multiple personality disorder, MPD. It utilizes a combination of psychology, neuroscience, and occult rituals to create within the slaves an alter persona that can be triggered and programmed by the handlers. Monarch slaves are used by several organizations connected with the world elite in fields such as the military, sex labor, and the entertainment industry. Let's continue. Beta programming sex kitten. Beta is referred to sexual programming slaves. This programming eliminates all learned moral convictions and stimulates the primitive instinct, devoid of inhibitions. Cat alters may come out at this level. Known as kitten programming is the most visible kind of programming, as some female celebrities, models, actresses, and singers have been subjected to this kind of programming. Popular culture clothing with feline prints will often denote kitten programming. Beta is the second Greek letter, and it represents the sexual models and alters that the programmers are creating. The primitive part of the brain is involved in this type of programming. Early sexual abuse event will be used to anchor this programming. These sexual slaves will develop sexual abilities that are far beyond what the public is aware is even possible. They also receive the worst kind of abuse far beyond what most people's imagination can picture. Beta alters generally see themselves as cats. That's Project Monarch. Per by Katy Perry, Fragrance 2010. Sex Kitten Program in Occult Symbolism, Katy Perry. A purple cat suit with animal print symbolizing beta sex kitten programming, plus purple represents the color of this association in monarch programming. B. You have the purple cat mask, symbolizes a slave's altar sex kitten persona. C. Reflection representing the multiple altars of the monarch slave, Katy Perry. D. Shadow represents shadow altars created to hold the pain when the main altar disassociates from torture. And E. Ball of string wrapped around wrist represents a ball and chain symbolizing slave's imprisoned, restrained mind. Sexual altar, sex kitten programming. You got Roseanne Barr right here, okay? She's wearing the same thing. Fake truth teller. Now I believe this guy Fritz Springmeier was a shill, but nevertheless he did tell a lot of truth. And so this guy, I guess, has taken a lot from his book, which is the Illuminati formula used to create an undetectable, total mind-controlled slave. That's the title of the book. It's a famous book by Springmeier. I've read portions of it. It's pretty good. The dark occultists who run the entertainment industry utilize fashion as a means of occult communication to others in the know, indicating through symbolism the individuals they have under their control as literal sex slaves. Animal print clothing is employed for this method of communication as it symbolizes the uninhibited or wild instincts brought out in a slave via Project Monarch beta sex kitten programming, and when triggered it will perform any action or sex act that is required by the handler. The form of mind control essentially destroys the sacred feminine within the female victim, turning him into nothing more than a piece of meat to be used and abused by the handler at any given time. Women, however, not the only gender who suffer from this form of programming, as many men who have undergone monarch programming signify beta programming via the animal print clothing that they wear. The following pages primarily cover the female victims of beta programming, but if you do an image search for male celebrities, you'll find more well-known men and young adults wearing animal print clothing. Sometimes fashion trends have deeper and darker symbolic significance. If you are a parent of young children or teenagers who are considering a career in the entertainment industry, become educated via occult symbolism and keep your children as far away from Hollywood or the entertainment industry as possible. Monarch programming is destroying the human race one person at a time. The children need to be protected, and the best method of doing so is through education and knowledge of these horrendous activities and ultimately non-support to the industries who are perpetrating these crimes against humanity. The shattering of a woman's mind is not glamorous or sexy. Clothing subliminals. Got the Project Monarch. Right now we have the Project Monarch subliminal, sex kitten beta programming, animal print clothing, occult symbolism. Subliminal, Project Monarch subliminal, sex kitten beta programming, animal print clothing, again occult symbolism. Right. You got the names of some of these people. Sorry, I didn't read this at first. You got the names of these actresses, whatever they are. I don't know all of them. Malin Ackerman, never heard of. Jessica Alba, Jamie Alexander, never heard of. Gillian Anderson and Pamela Anderson. Jennifer Aniston, right? Christina Applegate. Kim Basinger. Kate Beckinsale. Kirsten Bell. Monica Bellucci. And this is pretty disturbing. You got some guys doing this, obviously. Justin Bieber, Sacha Baron Cohen, Russell Brand, Kevin Hart, Kanye West, Jaden Smith. He's not a minor anymore, but yeah, he was when he got started. In the video yesterday, we showed how his father's kissing him on the lips and some gross stuff, right? And this same picture of Kanye was in the compilation as well, included. Yeah, here's some more of these shilts. Chris Brown, Brad Goreski, never heard of. CeeLo Green, Garrett Hedlund, never heard of. And of course Michael Jackson. Wiz Khalifa, Bruno Mars, Keith Richards, Rod Stewart, Harry Styles, and Steven Tyler, who is pretty much Susan Tyler. Beta programming. We have twerking is a type of dancing which an individual dances to popular music in a sexually provocative manner, including thrusting hip movements and a low squatting dance. In August 2013, Miley Cyrus generated controversy following a sexually provocative performance during the 2013 MTV Video Music Awards, in which Cyrus twerked during a medley of her track "We Can't Stop" and "Blur Lines" and "Give It to You" by Robin Thicke. We already read some of this, but here you have the singers, right? Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey, Miley Cyrus, Fergie, Lady Barfbag, Debbie Gibson, Kesha, Avril Lavigne, Nicki Minaj, Kylie Minogue, Katy Perry, Pink, Rihanna, Leanne Rimes, Britney Spears, Gwen Stefani, Shania Twain, Carrie Underwood, Victoria Beckham, Melanie Brown, Emma Bunton, Melanie Chisholm, Gary Halliwell, Whitney Houston, Adele, Lily Allen, Cheryl Cole, Beyonce, Debbie Harry, Courtney Love, Madonna, Shirley Manson, Amy Winehouse. Got more depictions right here, and so on and so forth. Celebrities and actresses. And right here you can see Paris Hilton. More Paris Hilton. Looks like this is all Paris Hilton. Yep. Actresses. Halle Berry, Jessica Biel, Rachel Bilson, Thora Birch, Emily Blunt, Kate Bosworth, Alison Brie, Brooke Burke. Yeah, I can't even pronounce this. Emmanuel Chiriqui, Rose Byrne, Jamie Chung. Never heard of any of these people. Lily Cole, Lynn Collins, Jennifer Connelly, Abby Cornish, Claire Dance, Elisha Cuthbert. Hilary Duff, Kirsten Dunst, Erica Durance, Eliza Dushku, Carmen Electra, Shannon Elizabeth, Alice Eve, Dakota Fanning, Tina Fey, Jenna Fisher, and Lindsay Fonesca. So that's pretty much it. Now we have beta programming depicted on TV. You can read this for yourself. As you can see, they're showing this with the alters in this TV series. This person has more alters, so they're kind of depicting that. Another series, United States Attire, never even heard of, but you can see the monarch butterfly right there on the fridge. You can see the print that she's wearing. Let's see what this is all about. When Tara is triggered into her beta alter, she's seen wearing an animal print bra, symbolizing beta programming, and attempts numerous times to have sex with Max, as seen in the above screenshot. T is a 16-year-old girl. She smokes pot and is wild and flirty. She's provocative in her mannerisms and style of dress. She relates well with Kate, providing her with morning after pill and frequently attempting to take her on shopping sprees with Tara's credit cards. She's very good at playing Dance Dance Revolution and manages to dance in style. She often tries to seduce Max. He refuses her since he and Tara have an agreement that having sex with any of the alters would cause too many problems, although under the previous arrangement, Max and T did have sex. Her unruly and selfish actions often disrupt Tara's life. After a major hiatus, Alice says she resorted to Seattle and becomes gutter punk. T makes a brief and wild return in the penultimate episode of Season 2 in order to confront Dwayne, Mimi's partner. After a long while, T managed to get a hold of Tara's body, saying goodbye to Kate before apparently being killed by Bryce. In the final episode, T is seen apparently alive in the back of Max's truck as he and Tara prepare to leave. So basically, what does this do? This doesn't teach any morals, doesn't teach anything good. It glorifies pot smoking, devil possession, as in this garbage, MK Ultra, obviously, and being promiscuous, being a whore, sleeping around. And here it is, the whole thing on the hidden life of Marilyn Monroe. So I'm just gonna scroll through this because we already read a little bit about Marilyn Monroe. So you can read this for yourself. I'm not even gonna attempt to be, reading this. I could make a whole video on this. One of the most obvious cases of mind control in today's entertainment industry, Britney Spears, from a childhood as a musketeer to her adulthood living under the conservatorship of her father and fiancé, aka her handlers. Britney has always been closely monitored by powerful figures. Like so many slaves, she has gone through breakdowns, substance abuse, and is often described as a drug zombie by those closest to her. Again, Britney's channeling Marilyn Monroe, complete with a platinum blonde look. Her hands are bound, which can represent her state in the entertainment industry. In this stage performance, Britney recreates the iconic flowing dress Monroe moment. Britney is reportedly obsessed with Monroe. According to Wonderwall, Britney demands that a collection of Marilyn Monroe DVDs be on hand in all her hotel rooms. She also visits Marilyn's grave regularly, wants to be buried in the same cemetery. Are beta slaves programmed to adulate Marilyn? You got another famous one, Anne Nicole Smith. Her life was similar to Monroe's, right down the tragic end. Famous for curves and a dumb blonde persona popularized by Monroe, her life in the spotlight was typical of a beta slave. Final years of her life, she was in a relationship with attorney Howard K. Stern, who acted more as a MK handler than a husband. In this video that I originally posted in the article where insiders expose the ugly side of the entertainment industry, we see Anna Nicole demonstrating odd behavior, quite possibly programmed, altered personality switched on. The sad scene is filmed by Stern, who appears to have triggered the episode. And Nicole Smith also had to live through some incredibly traumatic events. For instance, in 2006, right after giving birth to her daughter, her 20-year-old son came to visit her and mysteriously died right in her hospital room. The cause of his death was never clear, but as usual, the reason given by mass media is drugs. Was this a sacrifice by the occult elite to traumatize Anne Nicole Smith, the beta slave? One thing is for sure. The event completely changed for the rest of her life. Note that Monroe lost 2 unborn babies and claims they were taken from her by unidentified people. Once again, you can see them pretty much doing the same thing, dressing up like Monroe and all of that garbage, right? Less than 3 weeks after the death of her son, Anne Nicole committed to handler Howard K. Stern in an unofficial ceremony. 5 months later, Smith was found dead in a hotel room in Florida. She lost her life at age 39. Again, you get your 999 with 39 due to combination of drugs. In short, Smith's resemblance to Monroe was not only physical, she was programmed to relive Monroe's life. And you have more celebrities as Monroe. Lindsay Lohan right here. Lohan is an industry symbol whose frequent trips to rehab centers, aka reprogramming centers, erratic behavior reminiscent of Monroe's breakdown. Megan Fox, not a tranny, poses with a book of Marilyn Monroe while showing off her Monroe tattoo. Since then, Fox has, however, removed the tattoo. She stated in an interview, "I'm removing it. It's a negative character as she suffered from personality disorders and was bipolar. I do not want to attract that kind of negative energy in my life." Did she learn the truth about Monroe and what she represents in the MK Ultra entertainment industry? Katy Perry, you got the black and white in the background. You got the lady in red symbolism, which is Satan pretty much. Katy Perry is definitely used to push the Illuminati agenda, including beta programming symbolism. Here she's posing as Monroe with a Masonic checkerboard pattern in the background. Stated in previous articles, Courtney Stodden is all over bearings of a beta slave. She married her handler when she was 16 and he was 51. Wow. So you got pedophilia obviously with all of this, just like with Disney, right? Her online videos are all about being a beta kitten, displaying multiple personalities. Nicki Minaj, right? You got the 666 or the spiral symbolism right there. Nicki Minaj often imitates the Marilyn Monroe look. In her video, National Anthem, Lana Del Rey recreated Monroe's Happy Birthday, Mr. President garbage song. Lana Del Rey standing in front of an image of Marilyn Monroe. While it is normal for celebrities to be inspired by iconic stars such as Monroe, her image is systematically used on stars pushing the Illuminati agenda. Like other symbols described on this site, the symbol of Monroe is used to represent the presence of beta programming in popular culture. In conclusion, in this two-part series of articles, we looked at Marilyn Monroe's youth, career, death, and legacy. In all of these stages, Monroe's life was imprinted with trauma, abuse, and mind control. As a victim of beta programming, when she was not working on a project, she was literally passed around for intimate services. Towards the end of her life, Marilyn was JFK's presidential model, a situation that could have been explosive if revealed to the public. Both of them would die shortly afterwards in circumstances that remain extremely shady and suspicious. Even after Monroe's death, her image continues to be used ad nauseum to identify those who are following in the footsteps by the same system that control entire life. Why do most iconic figures in our pop culture often end up living tragic lives? Is it because there is something terribly wrong in the entertainment industry? I'll let Marilyn Monroe sum up the situation. Hollywood is a place where they pay you $50,000 for a kiss and 50 cents for your soul. Wow. There was another thing I just quickly want to take a look at. The whole connection with Anton LaVey. I actually wanted to read that. Let's quickly take a look at this whole LaVey thing. Contact with occult Hollywood. Before becoming famous, Norma Jean went by the name of Mona and worked as a stripper at a burlesque house in LA. As she came in contact with Anton LaVey, the man who would later found the highly influential Church of Satan, according to Spring Mile, LaVey was an MK handler and Monroe became one of his kitten slaves. Marilyn Monroe was an orphan, and during her infancy, the Illuminati/CIA programmed her to be a monarch slave. Before becoming an actress, while she was still a stripper, she spent time with the founder of the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey. Victims of LaVey pointed him out as a mind control programmer. LaVey's biography also mentions an affair with Monroe, which was probably more than that. When a carnival season ended, LaVey would earn money by playing organ in Los Angeles area burlesque houses. And he relates that it was during this time period he had a brief affair with a then unknown Marilyn Monroe. Around the same time period, LaVey was involved with another actress, one that was known for being the working man's Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield. The relationship between the two was also described as an affair, but the reality was a lot darker. Anton LaVey has been the mind control handler/programmer of a number of Hollywood actors and actresses, including Jane Mansfield and Marilyn Monroe, who both serviced him as sexual slaves. Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield had a lot in common. Both were blonde bombshells, neither were natural blondes, and are credited for sexualizing Hollywood. Both were Playboy playmates, both had an affair with Anton LaVey, and both had an affair with Robert F. Kennedy and John F. Kennedy. The affair was actually them being presidential models. Finally, both died in their 30s. Sad. And finally, we have Beyonce, presidential model. Change agents. Purpose is to galvanize public opinion in order to affect mass consciousness. In addition to standard functions as sex slaves, couriers of coded intel, drug mules, mind control slaves are used to push specific agendas. Progress is measured via video/CD, concert receipts, and media appearance ratings. Once bonding with target demographic reached desired levels, mind control slaves literally control fans' minds who blindly follows whatever they say and do. In my eyes, Beyonce is extremely overrated, but I can understand the mass appeal and large fan base. She's a talented singer, an attractive woman, and an energetic performer. But these are not the main reasons that we are constantly bombarded with Beyonce via every media platform. She happens to be a very valuable and profitable government asset according to many conspiracy sites. Beyonce and many stars before her show symbolism associated with what is known as monarch mind control. The basis for success of the monarch mind control programming is that different personalities or personality parts called alters can be created who do not know each other but who can take the body at different times. The amnesia walls that are built by traumas form a protective shield of secrecy that protects the abusers from being found out and prevents the front personalities who hold the body much of the time to know how their system of alters being used. The shield of secrecy allows cult members to live and work around other people and remain totally undetected. The front alters can be wonderful Christians, and deeper alters can be the worst type of satanic monster imaginable. Dr. Jekyll/Mr. Hyde effect. The associative amnesia following soldiers involved in combat trauma has been extensively documented. I don't think it will be too far-fetched in the realm of conspiracy, at least, to suggest that those with more power and knowledge could utilize this information for nefarious deeds. The success rate of this type of programming is high. When it fails, the failures are discarded through death. Each trauma and torture serves a purpose. A great deal of experimentation and research went into finding out what can and can't be done. Charts were made showing how much torture a given body weight at a given age can handle without death. Now, this is why the Nazis did all those strange concentration camp experiments, where they tested how quickly people would freeze or die from various traumas. It was for mind control. And let's not forget that Project MK Ultra was very real, and the classified government documents can be found on the experimentations by simple Google search. Very true. The text in the picture reads, unidentified white female between the age of 8 and 10 years old. Subject underwent heavy doses of LSD, electroshock, and sensory deprivation. Experiments on the codename MK Ultra about early 60s. Subject memory was erased, and her brain is that of a newborn baby. The intelligence community of this nation, which requires a shroud of secrecy in order to operate, has a very sacred trust from the American people. The CIA program, a human experimentation of the 50s and the 60s, violated that trust. It was violated again on the day the bulk of the agency's records were destroyed in 1978. It is violated each time and a responsible official refuses to recollect the details of the program. The best safeguard against abuses in the future is a complete public accounting of the abuse of the past. This is the kind of sordid thing the US government was doing under the name of behavioral modification. Well, it seems to me that they have perfected MK Ultra, and the new name is Monarch Mind Control. One thing discovered by research into genetic transmission or learned knowledge by humans to their children was that people are born with certain fears. Snakes, blood, seeing internal body parts, and spiders are all things that people are born fearing. The phobias toward these things are passed down genetically from one generation to another. In searching for traumas to apply to little children, the programmers found that these natural phobias, which occur in most people from birth, will work wonderful to split the mind. Along this line, the following is samples of traumas done to programmed slaves. A. Being locked in a small confined spot, a pit or a cage with spiders and snakes. B. Being forced to kill and cut up and eat innocent victims. And C. Immersion in the feces and urine and containers of blood. In recent times, the military and the science of psychology is paying attention to what they call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is psychopathic, debilitating effects of trauma and chronic nature of reactions to trauma. Intrusive flashbacks of the trauma will occur if the mind doesn't protect itself from reminders of that trauma. The mind creates avoidance patterns to protect itself from thinking about the trauma. Panic symptoms occur when a person undergoes physiological arousal to traumatic cues. A trauma will create a certain shatteredness within the victim. The victim will develop life assumptions about being vulnerable, about having little personal worth, and that life is not fair. They may develop phobias to constantly check the environment for safety and constantly monitor others and to make sure they are not mistreated. For centuries, warfare has taken place and military men have experienced PTSD. PTSD will often lead to outbursts of rage, chronic depression, borderline dysfunctions. The PTSD monarch victims is masked by the MPD DIAD and the programming. Then in turn, the programming makes the MPD. When the programming is complete, front alters have been created which can function with smiles and cheerful attitudes, while underneath the mind is full of shattered, hurting alters who the slave is unaware of. Self-punishment and social withdrawal are natural symptoms of the PTSD, and the programmers have no trouble enhancing and programming these functions into the alter systems. Certain alters end up holding the anger, the fear, the social withdrawal, the guilt, and the desire for self-punishment. They are held in check by the programming and take the body when the slave steps outside the programmed path. The bad memories in the minds of men who suffer from PTSD have been noted to recycle and self-perpetuate themselves as they lie unresolved in the memory cells. Bad memories for the victims of monarch programming are used to hold the MPD, the programming, in a place, also keep the victim in compliance. In 1954, Maslow published his hierarchy of needs, which when applied to monarchs and PTSD victims means that they cannot progress in therapy until their survival and safety needs are met. First and foremost, how does one identify a potential monarch in the media? The animal/feline print had been discussed, but once again, one image does not point to mind control. It is a constant and repetitive use of the same signs and symbols surrounding a media personality that points to monarch mind control. As we explore the potential that Beyonce is a presidential model, we will also go through the signs and symbols associated with her and many others. Remember, this imagery is a shout out from these slaves handlers, Jay-Z and Beyonce's case, but many times they're unknown to the public, letting other insiders know who's a monarch and what is available. Just like Freemasons communicate, right, with symbolism, it's the same thing right here. The butterfly. You have the butterfly right here in her hair, right? The butterfly is a reference to monarch mind control. So you have all the butterfly stuff here. Kelly, a Destiny's Child, on the left, joined by former band member Michelle, who's also butterfly face paint. These are common IDs or triggers used to identify monarch slaves with beta sex, kitten, or alter personalities for use/abuse, while in Destiny's Child the use of symbolism was more subtle than it is now, still visible. And you can take a look at these pictures. You got the leopard print. Kelly and Michelle individually have monarch references, and very briefly is some of the imagery. Disney. And you have more celebrity Disney references right here with Madonna, longtime beta slave and change agent, supermodel Chanel Iman, never heard of, Rita Ora. More example of these pervasive Mickey Mouse ears in my post, Monarchs in the Media, so I think it's best to continue on. Kelly Rowland. Michelle Williams. I'm sure there's more imagery surrounding both of them, but now we'll focus on Beyonce. The core part of trauma-based mind control, aka monarch mind control, is trauma. One of the many and most pervasive ways these monarchs are tortured is via electric shock. Now, the basic component of the monarch program is lots of electric shocks. Stun gun staffs with hidden electric cattle prods, and cattle prods are frequently used on the slaves. Electric shock is used to create MPD in the creation of the slave, and later it is used to remove memories after the slave is carried out of mission, or to instill fear and obedience in a reluctant slave. Slaves generally carry horrible body memories of excruciating electric shock tortures to their entire bodies. As the slave begins a therapeutic deprogramming process, they will recover the horrible memories, not to mention other painful memories. Right here you got the lightning symbolism. The use of the lightning bolt is a common subtly used sign to point to electric shock, as mentioned in my Monarchs in the Media post. Beyonce Destiny's Child Nasty Girl music video There's a seemingly random scene where girls walk in the nasty zapper machine and then step out as new, more modest versions of themselves. This here's reference to electroshock treatment, and it isn't the first time the entertainment industry advertised it. Brain zapped, right? Selena Gomez garbage. She's another slave as well. The next commonly used imagery is mirrors, masks, multiple images of person as reference to the alter personalities. Beyonce with Destiny's Child, a loose My Breath video. Beyonce dancing with her altar right here. From here on, we'll be looking at Beyonce on her own. And then here, new ghost music video looking like she's being tortured, perhaps pointing to creation of a new altar. Also Freemasonic symbolism, right here. Osiris risen, I believe it is. All of this over-sexualized, hyper-sexualized behavior, right? The use of masks to portray hidden altars / personalities. The next symbolism associated with trauma-based mind control is a reference to the shattered, splintered psyche of the slave due to intense and repeated trauma. This is symbolized by shattered glass. Once a split in a core personality occurs, an internal world can be created and altered personas can be programmed using tools such as music, movies, especially Disney productions, and fairy tales. These visual and audio aids enhance the programming process using images, symbols, and concepts. Created alters can then be accessed using trigger words or symbols programmed in the subject's psyche by the handlers. Some of the most common internal images seen by mind control slaves are Kabbalistic tree of life, infinity loops, ancient symbols and ladders, spider webs, mirror glass, shattering masks, castles, mazes, demons, butterflies, hourglasses, clocks, and robots. These symbols are commonly inserted in popular culture, movies, and videos for two reasons: to desensitize the majority of the population using subliminals and neuro-linguistic programming, and to deliberately construct specific triggers and keys for base programming highly impressionable Monarch children. Some of the movies used in Monarch programming include The Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, Pinocchio, and Sleeping Beauty. We got more of this stuff here. Some of the symbolism can seem far-fetched, which is why I try to include Monarch programming information that references the symbolism so it doesn't appear random. Also, I try to provide as much similar imagery as I can, so here are a few other shattered celebrities. Taylor Swift, like he says, pretty obvious. Back to Beyonce, I think from here we will explore most pervasive imagery associated with mostly women but men as well. Justin Bieber, Bruno Mars, even Drake as well. And that is feline print to point to sexual slave altars, also known as cat/kitten altars, beta sex kitten altars. We already read some of this in the other blog. It's pretty much just copy pasted. You can see this. She's wearing more of this print stuff here. Also tiger print, her posing with a tiger. More of this garbage. Complete another garbage. Next imagery is more subtle and not as frequent as something like the leopard print, which is essentially an advertisement for sex. This symbolism is related to that of mannequins, puppets, and marionette dolls. The mannequins represent the hidden altars created within these monarch slaves' minds. This may sound far-fetched, but once again, like many MK symbols, mannequins have a pervasive presence in the media, especially in the entertainment industry. You can see mannequins right there. I'm just quickly scrolling through these pictures so you can take a look at it for yourself. The use of mannequins is very similar to that of R&B singer Michelle. I have an article on the monarch symbolism here, as well as how the entertainment industry uses mannequins. I believe this also ties in with all the AI and the robots and all of that garbage. The whole AI agenda. The first part of this article is focused on exploring the idea that Beyonce is monarch with beta sex kitten altars. She has the familiar feline/leopard print imagery to point to potential sex kitten alters, as well as imagery that references multiple hidden personalities. From here we'll look at the symbolism associated with presidential models, which are monarch slaves who are used by presidents and kings and queens. They also use these monarch slaves as drug mules and as personal laptops to carry important information, say from one president to another. Presidential models we allegedly used by big-time entertainers and politicians, playthings, mind-control puppets, programmed to perform assorted acts at the bidding of the manipulative handlers. Supposedly Marilyn Monroe was the first monarch slave who achieved celebrity status. For those unfamiliar with the term presidential model, are referred to go to the Control of Candy Jones by Donald Bain and Long John Nabal. The story goes, Long John Nabal, New York radio personality, in the 50s 70s discovered by hypnosis that his wife Candy Jones was a victim, just this sort of mind control project, one of many MK Ultra mind control slaves, programmed by CIA psychiatrists and used by high mucky muck dignitaries to perform their whims among assorted duties, such as being used drug mules and message couriers for this vast network of morally deficient power brokers. High-level monarch slaves are often identified with gems and stones identified as status. Some interesting piece of information regarding Marilyn's early life is from VigilanceCitizen.com. We already went through this. There's a whole section on Marilyn. We already read the connection with Anton LaVeyne's Satanism, the occult connection, all of that garbage. As stated above, Marilyn Monroe was supposedly the first publicly known monarch slave. Here are some current media personalities who have paid homage to her in both subtle and less subtle ways. Madonna. Madonna wears diamonds here, and this is because diamonds are identified for presidential models, and it seems like Madonna earned the status early in her career. Media personalities who simply emulate her style, as told to do so by directors who are told by their handlers or use her images, are monarchs with Marilyn Monroe alters who are available for sex but aren't high-level monarch slaves yet. Scarlett Johansson, younger Marilyn Monroe, Scarlett again, Megan Fox. Megan Fox is Marilyn's tattoo she gotten rid of in recent years, right? Anna Faris emulating Marilyn in the house. Bunny, Lindsay Lohan, Lindsay again, Michelle Williams, Michelle again, Lara Stone, Pamela Anderson, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is another presidential model. A lot of these famous for being famous celebrities are just well-publicized monarch sex slaves, i.e. Kim Kardashian and her whole family. Kim Kardashian right here. Just as Kanye controlled, both wearing the same print right here, the leopard print. Rihanna. Lindsay Lohan. Notice the Marilyn face on her dress. Rihanna, more Lindsay Lohan right here. 16-year-old Courtney Stodden and her 52-year-old husband / handler. Sick, wow. Courtney has a few pointless videos of her crawling around and acting like a cat, which you should have put together by now, points to beta sex kitten programming. Back to Marilyn's, right? Mariah Carey, Miley Cyrus, Angelina Jolie, and Nicole Smith, Charlize Theron, Drew Barrymore, and the list goes on and on. Christina Aguilera, Katy Perry. Katy Perry in a Marilyn Monroe themed commercial. Note the duality checkerboard theme also. Kelly Osbourne, rapper MIA. This weird tranny model, Cara Delevingne. Cara again. Tina Sheese, screenshot from her in case we die. Monarch mind-controlled slaves like Loretta Lynn and Marilyn Monroe lived tightly controlled lives, and they were not allowed to drive automobiles. The one exception is that Loretta has been allowed to drive her car around the ranch. The following format, the words in italic, are direct quotes from Lena Pepitone's book, which is enlisted Marilyn Monroe confidential intimate personal account. Floor-to-ceiling mirrors were everywhere. Even the dining alcove at the rear of the living room had a table with a mirror top. All these mirrors didn't cheer things up. In programming monarch slaves, mirrors are used a great deal. Within the monarch slave's mind, countless mirror images are made. The slave sees thousands of mirrors everywhere in their mind. Because Marilyn was so stripped of any personal identity, she decorated her house as her mind looked on the inside, full of mirrors. Although monarchs may have some desires to decorate with mirrors, Marilyn is the most extreme case I know of filling one's house full of mirrors. It continues talking about Marilyn. High-level monarch slaves are often identified with gems and stones to identify their status. Presidential models are reportedly identified with diamonds. Many Illuminati children will go through either metals or jewels programming, and occasionally will go through both. Jewels is considered higher than metals and more difficult to obtain, which is put in and when is dependent on the child's status, his parent's status, the region it is born in, the group it is born into, and the trainers that work with it. Basically, metals or jewels is a form of reward-based programming. From here, we'll look at Beyonce's potential presidential model status through the image surrounding her. I already showed that diamond is 33. You also have the cube symbolism. Beyonce for Armani, diamond fragrance. Diamond is 33, as we said before. In Beyonce's music video, Upgrade You, she's seen holding a diamond in her mouth as well as the word upgrade. Perhaps this was around the time she got an upgrade in her programming and now has diamond presidential model status. Check out the video and a few screenshots above. The triggers to access the monarch slaves are often called keys. There are many subtle references to the keys through the entertainment industry, from commercials to subtle key necklace. Nothing I find is a coincidence. In Hollywood, some key references from other monarchs. You got Justin Bieber. I already exposed the key symbolism in one of my older videos. You got key necklace. You got young Miley Cyrus key stuff. You got Selena Gomez with the key nonsense. Zac Efron, another Disney product. Returning to Beyonce and presidential model symbolism, she also has some subtle Marilyn Monroe references. Don't think this is enough. I admit, at first, I don't think this photo shoot was going for the Marilyn Monroe theme. However, Daily Mail's title for this photo shoot confirmed otherwise. Some like it hot. Beyonce goes topless and pays homage to Marilyn Monroe in platinum blonde wig for cover shoot. Presidential models are known to serve presidents, hence their name. Has anyone ever questioned Beyonce's presence at the White House beyond just being a singer? Her handler, Jay-Z, does make some interesting claims. An entire series could be written about Jay-Z and his connections. He refers to himself as Hova or Jehovah, the God MC, which leads you to believe that he is a Luciferian because of part of their creed is that man is God. And the lyrics of his song, Run This Town Tonight, Jay-Z alludes to Masonic membership when he raps, I'm in Mason. That he's seated with a bunch of Freemasons. There she's posing with Obama. More presidential models. Obviously Marilyn Monroe with JFK. Right there with JFK. And her singing happy birthday for JFK while wearing a skin-tight diamond-studded dress. Keeps on talking about Bryce Taylor. We don't have to read everything. But you got White Rabbit in the music video. White Rabbit symbolism, which is also MK Ultra. Alice in Wonderland references, rabbit ears. Along with Alice in Wonderland, the film Wizard of Oz is also used in programming young monarch slaves. Certain books are used to reinforce this trauma, and one of these is The Wizard of Oz, an occult piece of Literature by L. Frank Baum. Wizard of Oz is about the soul's search for illumination. Dorothy's dog, Toto, represents her intuition, which guides her in a journey which is found by following the yellow brick road to the Emerald City, as well as association from reality abuse to fantasy and back to reality. The different types of mind control programming are identified by mascots/identifiers. The common identifier for MONARCH slaves with Oz program is the red shoe like Dorothy's ruby red slippers. Other identifiers include small dogs and use of rainbows. This association is encouraged by going over the rainbow. Beyonce is occasionally seen in red shoes. Posing like the prostitute personality in a Partition music video. More red shoes references. Another way monarchs with Wizard of Oz programming are identified is by them singing the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, a song from the film or other Wizard of Oz themed songs. Just to clarify, the Wiz is identified by Wikipedia it is a retelling of Baum's wonderful Wizard of Oz in the context of African American culture. Below is a video of older Beyonce singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow from the original movie. As we approach the end of this article, I want to explore the symbolism around Blue Ivy that points to her own monarch programming. Blue Ivy with a butterfly painted on her face, animal print, baby carrier, got the black and white there, the blue leopard print, right? Beyonce in duality, black and white, more leopard print. Rainbows, Wizard of Oz programming identifies Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Below is a video that has been circulating on the web. Video Beyonce looking tranced while with her handler Jay-Z. I will make sure I include that video because I have it in my compilation. References to multiple personalities from Beyonce herself. References to multiple personalities from Beyonce herself. Beyonce told People magazine, Sasha Fierce was born when I did Crazy in Love. People, when they meet me, expect that all the time, but that person is strictly for the stage. And it continues with whoever this is, Michelle, K. Michelle, Monarch based mind control imagery and R&B. Well, you got pretty much more of this stuff right here. We don't really need to even read this anymore because it's just... Alright, you got more of this stuff here. More Marilyn Monroe and all that nonsense. That's pretty much it. And it talks about some of these new singers. And it goes on and on and on. I will make sure to post all of this under the video in the description box. What's the conclusion in the end? Jesus Christ is Lord. I think that this is pretty much it for today, and I think that we exposed everything in this one video. What's the conclusion to all of this? Is that you need to repent and get right with the Lord. Jesus Christ is Lord, and that's all that matters. Remember, all you have to do is call on the name of the Lord to be saved. You got to be willing to turn from your sins, to make a 180, and just, to make a 360 actually, and to call on the name of the Lord. The Bible says, repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out when the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. And of course you have Romans chapter 10, which says, for the heart man believeth unto righteousness, with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Once again, you know the truth about this. I hope the Lord is going to work it in your heart. If you're not saved, you'll get saved. turn from your sins, and just turn your back on all this garbage. Because really, in reality, Christ is all you need, and this is all garbage, and this is all leading you to hell. All these singers, all this nonsense, all this nudity, profanity, all this garbage, these people are just tortured slaves. What you need to do is turn to Christ, and He will give you a new heart with new desires, and you'll not be controlled by this garbage anymore, and be stuck in idolatry and all of that. So, you don't know when you're going to die, so make sure you get right with the Lord. Call on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Today, the Bible says today is the day of salvation. I hope this was a blessing to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and God bless.